I think we're the best team in the division. I genuinely do. I think the Jets are the best team in the division. I think if Rodgers is 80% of what he was 2 years ago, what I'm banking on is look, last year, by anyone's estimation, I assume including his, he did not have a great year. And I believe he broke his thumb against the Giants in week 5 or 6 or whatever game it was that they were in London. And his hand was just never the same again for the rest of the year. He also didn't have the same kind of rapport built up with those young receivers, and which is why I think you saw it get better and better as the season went on. I'm counting on the fact that what we're going to get is Rodgers, who's much closer to the player that he was 2 years ago than the one he was last season. If that is the case, this will be the best defense he's played with since the team that won the Super Bowl in 2010. The Jets defense is genuinely excellent. I believe Garrett Wilson, he will turn Garrett Wilson into Davante. Garrett Wilson is that good. They have Breece Hall. He's that good. I'm telling you right now. Who is yelling? Oh,
this whole side of the state.
Garrett Wilson. My prediction: if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of the Jets this coming season, assuming nothing catastrophic happens, Garrett Wilson will put up numbers. Go find Davante Adams' numbers from his last year together with Rodgers. I predict that Garrett Wilson will put up numbers that look just like that. He's that good.
Favre never played with Davante Adams. We would like to get that.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say, obviously, I meant to say Aaron.
In stone.
But we need to make sure we correct that.
Right.
We need to correct that.
I don't want to get sued.
Whoa!
Walking a fine line.
Can't have that.
Whoa!
And they have a running back named Breece Hall, who was a stud until he got hurt last year. Actually, he played his best game was the game against Green Bay. And we have other good running backs. They have to remake that line. That's why. See, I think the fight over the trade is about the 13th pick in the draft. The first, what they're probably going back and forth on is the Jets are trying not to trade this year's first round pick, which is number 13, and the Packers want it, and I don't blame them for wanting it. But I have already started months ago preparing for this year's draft, which I host for ESPN, and I can tell you right now, right around 11 is when I think we should expect a run of offensive linemen. There are a bunch of good offensive linemen, so 13 should be right in the area. What the Jets desperately need is to build an offensive line in front of a quarterback who will be almost 40 years old. And they have a few players coming back from injury, but they need more. So I don't know what they're going to do about that in free agency, if anything, but I definitely think the plan would be to draft an offensive lineman, specifically a tackle, at 13, and that, I think, is why they're trying so hard not to give up that pick.
I thought the offensive line was okay when they were healthy, right? Didn't they get injured? Yeah. 2 players got injured. Because I remember Breece Hall, who I thought you were going to say was a stinking dog. Instead, you said he was a stud. When I heard this come, I was like, stinking's coming out. You know what I mean? I thought it was going like that. Breece Hall had like 40-yard runs every single week.
Unbelievable.
Right? Isn't that what
he's great. Yes, he's genuinely great. He's a really talented player. He was someone I was sure was going to go in the first round, and the Jets traded up to get him with, I believe, the second or third pick of the second round. It was a tremendous – the Jets had an unbelievable draft.
Which is why they probably don't want to give up any picks either. They value their picks. They do well at it. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Greeny, I'm glad you said that about the Jets fans on Twitter because they're all fucking marks, and I just want that to be known. So.
He's a Patriots fan, obviously.
Yeah, but, I mean, it feels great coming from the face of the New York Jets fan base, Greeny. In your opinion –
Fireman Ed.
Well, he quit on the team.
That's
Gary
the thing.
Do you guys have a meeting?
You, Gary.
And the Fireman Ed?
Oh, with Fireman Ed, I mean, with the Jet fans? No, I mean, I've known Eddie Anzalone for years. Everyone around the Jets has known him. I used to say, so my dad and I grew up at Shea Stadium, which no longer exists, but my dad and I sat all the way upstairs. We sat as far away from the field as just about as far as you could possibly be. And my dad always said, a real fan stays till the end of the game no matter what. Now, this is the mid-'70s. The Jets didn't make the playoffs for 11 or 12 years in a row. We were terrible every year, and Oakland would be beating us 32-6 with 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter in December when it's 8 degrees outside.
Little breezy.
And my dad would always say, we're not leaving. We're sitting right here till the end of this game. So my Jet fan credentials are very much well in order. So those guys, Gary, and look, we've got the Jets have a lot of famous fans. Larry David is a crazy Jet fan. Adam Sandler is a crazy Jet fan. Kevin James is
Aaron's
a crazy Jet fan.
Sandman
King
movie?
of Queens?
Oh my God.
Here we go.
Holy shit.
Pretty safe bet. You know who was oh my God, his real name just jumped out
Billy
of my
Gardell?
head.
No, it's
Steelers.
Steelers.
From
Don't be an
The
asshole,
Sopranos.
Gandolfini.
The star of The Sopranos.
Yeah.
James Gandolfini
Rutgers.
was a
He rest in
huge
peace.
Jet fan. So, the Jets have a lot of fame. Look, when you're a New York team, you're going to have a lot of famous
So
fans.
many people.
Yeah.
Greeny, so many people over there. I mean, just so
Yeah.
many humans just in
New
general,
York?
in the area. And,
Yeah.
Giants have had success. You guys haven't been on prime time since 2012 or something. I think I just saw a
Sunday Night
stat, a tweet or
Football.
whatever. You guys haven't been on there. That's 11 years. That's a New York market. There are so many fucking humans that are just Jets fans just because they grew up in the area that is, I don't want to be a person that judges what's populated or overpopulated, but that area,
Oh, yeah.
so many
Well,
fucking humans over there. You
Let's
immediately
put it this way.
Yeah.
The apartment complex I grew up in has more people than Green Bay, Wisconsin. So, I mean, New York is a very, very large place. But here's what I'll say. The Jets are definitively the second team in town. The Giants are an original franchise. The Giants, like the Packers and the Bears, and some of the others, go back to the beginning. They have generations and generations of fans. The Jets were an American Football League team. They came along much later. They don't have anywhere near the same passionate fan base. What the Jets need in order to capture this market for a period of time is they need a person that everyone gets excited about. The last person who did that for us, candidly, was Rex Ryan, who you got to know a little bit, Pat, when you were with us on Get Up. He's such a good guy. But because of his huge personality, the Jets owned the town when Rex was there. Not just because we were winning, which we were, but also because he just got people excited about it. I think Rodgers will do that. Rodgers becomes the biggest star in New York sports the minute he becomes a Jet. I think in town, baseball is so big here. The Yankees are so big here. Aaron Judge is probably within New York, will be somewhat equal to Rodgers. But in terms of national notoriety or whatever it is, Aaron Rodgers is by far the biggest star that we have in New York sports the minute that trade goes through.
What a line there. Best team in the division. How you doing? Keep it moving. And biggest star. I think that obviously, I think you said, I want to play for the Jets. I want to play in New York.
Yeah, he did.
Like you said, I want to play in. Could you imagine Aaron Rodgers being the king of New York City, dude? Just this hippie football player that is a stallion who, has his public differences with a lot of,
A lot of people.
the owner of the team potentially in there and how things were said about him. Then he goes in there and wins some football games. They're like, "Where's the lighter? Give me that Vax card.
Yeah.
I will light that thing." I mean, it's a different. I know the Packers fans are very deep. Like I know everywhere, it's a historic franchise, but like those Jets fans in the place in which you are popular, pretty powerful place to be popular. Like New York is a city that you have a lot of connections potentially in. He's jumping right into that. And he's almost 40. Could you imagine what this could do for like the rest of his life? I'm thinking about that as well, Greeny, if there's success.
Yeah, look, I think there's that
Not that
side
he
of it.
needs
A guy-
it. Not that he
Yes,
needs
a
it.
guy like Aaron Rodgers, he will be able to sort of choose whatever he wants his life to be from this point, for whatever day he stops playing football forward, and he's one of 0.01% of football players who can say that. What I do think is, and look, AJ, you know him well, and Patrick, you obviously know him too. I don't. I've met him like twice, but I don't know him.
He didn't
But
dunk
I
on
get
you
the
yesterday.
sense-
He dunked on
I get
He dunked on Shefty. He didn't dunk
I
on
hope
you.
he likes me. I hope he's welcome to come over anytime he wants once he gets here.
Very
No, I met him.
nice.
We did one event together one time at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut. He couldn't have been nicer to me and to all of the fans there, but I don't know him, and that's not the point. The point is, I feel like he's a person to whom his legacy as a football player is very important. And I think that right now his legacy is he's one of the greatest quarterbacks that ever lived. But there are a few boxes that are not checked off on that. To watch him, to the eye test, I think he's the best player I ever saw play the position when he was at his best. No, I don't think anyone ever played it better. But you can't dispute, some things which are tangible, winning more games, winning more championships, that kind of stuff.
Team sport.
I think if he comes to New York takes a franchise that has not won a championship since 1969. January 12th, 1969 is the last time the only time the Jets won the Super Bowl.
Massive.
If he wins a title here, then I do think that, anywhere he won his second was going to be, I think, significant. But doing it with a historically downtrodden franchise like this, I do think it actually makes a difference to how he is perceived historically. And you guys correct me if I'm wrong. From a distance, my sense of it is that does matter to him.
AJ?
Yeah, I think I'm sure he wants his legacy to, I guess, be as positive as it can be. But he definitely, I would imagine, is aware, hey, if I can go to New York and win a Super Bowl for the Jets, for guys like Greeny that have been so hungry for it since 1969, yeah, that kind of elevates it a little bit.